Welcome to the Jones Life Stories, where we dive into the heart-wrenching tales of real people facing life's toughest challenges, emerging stronger with lessons that inspire us all. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button now, like this video if it moves you, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that love can conquer even the darkest storms. Today, we're unraveling a story of loss, redemption, and the unbreakable bonds that define true family. Buckle up. This one starts with a scream that echoes through the rain-soaked streets of Manhattan, proving that sometimes a single act of courage can shatter empires and rebuild lives. Remember, as we always say on the Jones Life Stories, in the face of adversity, your heart's true strength shines brightest. Keep pushing, keep loving, and never forget to lift others along the way. The scream pierced the Manhattan night like a dagger through silk. Somebody help. There's a child running into traffic. It was a stormy evening on Fifth Avenue, where the glittering lights of a penthouse engagement party flickered high above, oblivious to the chaos unfolding below. A 7-year-old boy in a tiny tuxedo darted toward the deadly intersection, his small feet splashing through puddles as horns blared and headlights cut through the downpour. In just 30 seconds, a stranger's heroic decision would not only save his life, but expose the rotten core of America's elite families, toppling $1 billion empire built on secrets and lies. This is the story of Lucas Grant, the boy who ran, Naomi Brooks, the woman who caught him, and Alexander Grant, the father who learned that true wealth isn't measured in dollars, but in the love we give and receive. On the Jones Life Stories, we believe that every setback is a setup for a comeback, motivation to remind you that your greatest trials often lead to your greatest triumphs. Like, share, and subscribe to join our community of resilient souls. Let's rewind 2 hours earlier to the opulent penthouse atop one of Manhattan's most exclusive towers. Alexander Grant, the 35-year-old CEO of Grant Hotels International, a chain worth billions, stood at the center of it all, champagne flute in hand. The room buzzed with 200 of New York's finest, investors, celebrities, and socialites, all toasting his engagement to Victoria Hale, the 32-year-old heiress dubbed the corporate ice queen by Forbes for her cutthroat mergers and acquisitions. Her platinum blonde hair cascaded perfectly over a designer gown that cost more than most people's annual salary. To the future Mrs. Grant, Alexander toasted, his arms snaking around Victoria's slim waist. The woman who's going to help me build an empire even greater than we can imagine. The crowd erupted in cheers, cameras flashed like lightning, and crystal glasses clinked in harmony. But amid the glamour, one small figure slipped away unnoticed, 7-year-old Lucas Grant, tears streaming down his cherubic face. What the guests didn't know was the silent war brewing in Lucas's heart. For 6 months since the engagement announcement, he hadn't uttered a single word to Victoria. Every attempt she made to bond, calling her mom, buying him extravagant toys, ended with him fleeing to his room, door locked tight. Earlier that evening, as the party preparations hummed, Victoria had cornered him in his lavish bedroom, decorated with imported toys and a view of the city skyline. "Your real mommy isn't coming back, Lucas," she whispered, her voice dripping with false sweetness, but her blue eyes as cold as Arctic ice. "So you might as well start acting like a big boy and accept reality. Call me Mom. It's what your father wants." Lucas's lower lip trembled, but he said nothing. Instead, he bolted from the room, weaving through the crowd of laughing adults, out the service door, down the elevator, and into the rainy streets below. Back upstairs, Alexander was schmoozing a group of potential investors, discussing expansions into Europe, when Victoria appeared at his side, her smile never faltering for the onlookers. "Darling," she murmured, leaning close, "we have a small problem. Lucas seems to have wandered off." Alexander's face drained of color. "What do you mean, wandered off?" He excused himself abruptly, his heart pounding as he searched the penthouse, the marble kitchen empty, the library with its leather-bound books silent, Lucas's bedroom devoid of life. Then, the scream from 30 floors below cut through the party noise like a siren. "Somebody help. There's a child running into traffic." Alexander rushed to the floor-to-ceiling windows, peering down through the sheets of rain. There, illuminated by headlights, was a tiny figure in a tuxedo, his tuxedo, stumbling toward the intersection where taxis and limos sped by without mercy. 30 floors up, Alexander was helpless, his empire of wealth powerless against this nightmare. But on the street below, fate had placed Naomi Brooks, a 28-year-old nurse from Boston General Hospital, just finishing her late shift. Rain-soaked in her scrubs, she was walking home when she spotted the boy bolting from the luxury building's entrance. Without a second thought, she dropped her purse and sprinted into the fray. Brakes screeched, horns blared like angry beasts, driver swerved in panic. Naomi dodged a cab by inches, her adrenaline surging as she reached Lucas just as he tripped into the crosswalk, a semi-truck barreling toward them. She scooped him up, wrapping her jacket around his trembling body. "Hey, sweetie," she said, kneeling in the puddle-strewn street, her voice calm amid the chaos. "You're safe now. You're safe with me." Lucas looked up at the stranger, a young black woman with kind, chocolate-brown eyes and curls matted by rain, and whispered his first words of the evening. "My daddy's marrying a mean lady, and she wants me to forget my real mommy." Naomi's heart shattered. She knew that pain all too well, the ache of loss that no child should bear. "Sometimes grown-ups make decisions that hurt us," she replied softly, brushing his wet hair from his forehead. "But that doesn't mean you have to stop loving the people who matter most. Your mommy's love is still with you right here." She touched his chest gently. Above them, Alexander watched from the window, his breath fogging the glass. In that moment, he realized how his pursuit of empire had blinded him to his son's silent suffering. Alexander burst from the elevator into the lobby, finding Lucas safe, huddled with Naomi under the doorman's watchful eye. "Lucas!" He dropped to his knees, pulling his son into a fierce embrace, his designer suit soaking in the process. "Thank God you're okay." "Daddy," Lucas murmured. "I don't want to call her mommy. She's not my mommy." Alexander looked up at Naomi, gratitude flooding him. "How can I ever thank you? You saved his life." Naomi stood, smoothing her drenched scrubs with quiet dignity. "You don't need to thank me, Mr. Grant. I just couldn't let anything happen to him." Alexander reached for his wallet, pulling out a checkbook. "Please, let me compensate you, at least for your trouble." But Naomi raised a hand. "I don't want your money. That's not why I did this." No one had ever refused Alexander's money before. It stunned him. "Then what do you want?" Naomi glanced at Lucas, who clung to his father but watched her with wide, curious eyes. "I want you to listen to what your son is trying to tell you," she said quietly. "He's not running away from you. He's running toward the memory of someone he loved. And sometimes that's the same thing." As she turned to leave, Alexander called out, "Wait, I don't even know your name." "Naomi Brooks." "Are you? Do you have experience with children?" Naomi's smile was tinged with sadness. "I had a son once. His name was Eli. He would have been 8 next month." The words "would have been" hung heavy, revealing a shared grief Alexander recognized from his own loss. His wife Sarah, taken by cancer 2 years prior. "Miss Brooks," Alexander said, a decision forming, "would you consider helping me understand what my son needs?" Unbeknownst to them, upstairs in the penthouse, Victoria watched the security footage on her phone, her perfect nails digging into her palm. This stranger had just threatened her carefully orchestrated future, and Victoria Hale didn't tolerate threats. She began plotting how to eliminate Naomi Brooks from their lives. As we pause here on the Jones life stories, remember, true strength comes from vulnerability. When life knocks you down, get up with more love in your heart. If this story is resonating, like and subscribe for more tales that motivate you to embrace your own journey. 3 days post-party, Alexander was unraveling. Lucas hadn't eaten properly, barricading himself in his room whenever Victoria visited. The boys' questions echoed. "Where's the nice lady who saved me?" Victoria dismissed it over breakfast, her fingers drumming impatiently. "He's manipulating you, Alexander. Children need structure, not coddling." But Alexander couldn't erase the image of Lucas fleeing into traffic. Something was broken, and he didn't know how to mend it. Lucas appeared in the doorway, clutching his stuffed elephant, a relic from his mother's days untouched since her funeral. "Daddy, can we call the nice lady? I want to say thank you." Alexander studied his son, the dark circles, the fragility, and nodded. "Would you like me to ask Miss Brooks if she might spend some time with you?" Lucas's face illuminated. Victoria's cup clattered. "Alexander," Surely you're not suggesting. I'm suggesting my son needs help with his grief, Alexander cut in firmly. He dialed Naomi. Ms. Brooks, this is Alexander Grant. My son has been asking for you. Would you consider a temporary arrangement to help him through this? After a pause, Naomi's voice came soft. Mr. Grant, I'm not a nanny. I'm a nurse dealing with my own grief. Maybe that's what he needs. Someone who understands grief isn't to be gotten over, but carried with love. Another pause. I'll come this afternoon to talk. That visit stretched into dinner. Lucas ate fully for the first time in days, then asked, Can Miss Naomi come back tomorrow? Victoria fumed, but Alexander saw his son's genuine smile, a spark of life absent in Sarah's death. On the Jones Life Stories, we motivate you. Don't let fear hold you back from the changes that heal. Like if you're inspired, share with a friend, and subscribe for more. Alexander hired Naomi as Lucas's caregiver, but she challenged his views on class, family, and parenting. Naomi, from Boston's Roxbury neighborhood, had no elite credentials, just a nursing background marked by tragedy. Yet, she succeeded where therapists failed. She made Lucas laugh. Alexander returned early one day to hear joy echoing in the kitchen. There, flour-dusted, they baked cookies. Lumpy, imperfect masterpieces. Dad, look! I made a dinosaur. Lucas beamed. We were talking about how your mom loved making cookies, Naomi explained. The funny ones taste best because they're made with extra love. Alexander joined, loosening his tie, remembering Sarah's baking days long forgotten in his empire building. Evenings brought transformation. At 7 o'clock, Naomi lit a candle in Lucas's room. Who do you want to remember tonight? Lucas shared drawings of Sarah. Naomi revealed Eli's photo. He loved drawing scare dragons helped by brave mice. Lucas listened, then asked, What happened to Eli? Bad things sometimes happen, but love lives on. Alexander eavesdropped, throat tight. This woman turned pain into healing. Lucas improved, sleeping better, eating, asking questions. Why do people have different skin colors? God wanted a beautiful garden of flowers, Naomi replied. Victoria disapproved. She's making him emotional. Empires aren't built on feelings. But Alexander saw family in simple meals. Tension peaked at a business dinner. Victoria paraded Lucas in a mini-suit. Tell Mr. Whitman about school. Lucas snapped. I want to talk about my mom. Tears flowed. Naomi intervened. Your mom exists in your kindness. Victoria banished them, but Alexander questioned his priorities. As the Jones Life Stories reminds you, choose love over legacy. It's the true inheritance. Hit like, share, subscribe. Victoria cornered Alexander with photos. Naomi and Lucas in Roxbury. You had her followed, protecting our family. She's exposing him to danger. Images showed Lucas smiling while helping at Sunshine Community Center. She's making him guilty about wealth. Lucas burst in. Naomi says we can plant a garden. Mommy would love it. Victoria objected. Messy. Lucas deflated. Alexander drove to Roxbury, seeing community, not danger. Mrs. Chin praised Lucas. He's kind, grateful, not guilty. Naomi explained. Service healed my anger after Eli. Alexander trusted her. But Victoria planned deeper. Victoria confronted Lucas with Eli's box. Put that down. She let me hold it because I was sad. Alexander intervened. Lucas defended. Naomi says having good things means helping others. Victoria's prejudice slipped. People from her background want our money. Lucas, what makes you good is how you treat people. Alexander chose. These values are what I should teach. Victoria stormed out. Lucas drew their family, including Eli. Our family would be just right with Naomi. 2 weeks later, Vermont trip, business and independence test. Lucas withdrew. Blizzard hit. Lucas vanished. Alexander searched, found him with Naomi by a fire. I called her, Lucas admitted. Naomi, I drove through the storm. Back at Lodge, Alexander confronted Victoria. He nearly died from desperation. He chose Naomi. Drive home silent. Alexander ended with Victoria. Time apart. To Naomi, stay as family. She revealed, that night, I was suicidal from Eli's loss. Saving Lucas gave purpose. They finished Eli's stories, built Eli's light foundation. Victoria's downfall via viral video. A year later, transformed lives. Ceremony, love multiplies. On the Jones life stories, family is chosen. Motivational line, build bridges of love, not walls of wealth. Like, share, subscribe. Your support spreads these stories.